Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Tag Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about our dreams and what our dreams are telling us. I've been fascinated by dreams forever, and I have a very vivid dream life, which we will probably discuss a little bit of in this episode. And I have a very special guest for you guys, Lynda Samphire. Did I pronounce that properly? Samphire.
Perfectly.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Lynda, welcome to the podcast. Please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm super excited and to talk about one of my favorite topics is dreams. So, I am a transformational and intuitive guide. I have worked with my own inner being through functioning anxiety and functioning depression and really coming to that place of wholeness. So I help others bring themselves back into that place where we insource rather than outsource and living in that space of, freedom and flow. So
Beautiful. I love that. We all need someone like you in our lives, I think, in today's
ah,
world. Lynda, tell us a little bit about your story. I read your story and you have quite a sad but interesting story to share. How you started with this gift that you have.
yeah, thank you. I my journey began when I was really young. My mother passed when I was two. I didn't know it then, but for years, I was carrying that kind of that in the grief that was in because when we're two, we don't know what grief is. We don't know what death is. We just know that mom is gone
Yeah.
and it left that abandonment type of behavior through life. So the early loss really became that backdrop of my life. Anxiety and depression were those constant companions, but I didn't name them that. It was inside, which I thought was just normal. And it felt like this kind of invisible weight throughout my life on me. I kept doing more, earning, improving my, love, earning it, and then wanting to feel safe in the world because the world didn't feel safe. So I thought by doing more, overachieving, over pleasing myself. So on the outside, it looked like I was completely holding it together, but then on the inside, I was just exhausted and anxious and really deeply connected to myself. So, and it shows up. It showed up in so many different ways: relationships, money, jobs, and I just kept being that kind of round peg, trying to get into that square hole. So outsourcing my truth, surviving to please, and just trying to belong. But all of us, all the time, my nervous system writing in fight or flight. So it was one day, I'm like, I just can't even take this anymore. And I was worn out. My life felt like it was in survival mode, and nothing was working no matter how much I tried. The one thing I always did have, though, was my dreams. They were very vivid. I was very curious about them, and I had some pretty amazing experiences. So I started focusing more in that world. And I surrendered. I just surrendered into everything. I brought in more dream work, started working with those more. I started bringing in plant medicine, breath work, anything I could do, and it came down to soothing the nervous system. And I found that, of course, sleep is our number one medicine. And then going and working with the dreams started shifting how I felt about myself during the day, how I felt intuitive wise. That grew. And all over life began to change. And I didn't feel alone. I didn't feel so alone. And my nighttime became this beautiful sanctuary.
And when did you realize that your dreams are perhaps different from other people's dreams, or even people who say they don't dream?
That's a good question because I just assumed it was everybody.
Yeah.
But my mother showed up many times in my dreams. I had like a recurring one that would show up. I guess it never occurred to me that it was different because I feel like everybody we're all dreaming for one. We just are not remembering. So it's a muscle that we practice. Mine was just a big opening for me. And I think because my life during the day was so frenetic, it's the one way my soul could speak to me and I would listen. So it's a pathway to our own soul. And I think my soul was screaming for a really long time. all along, it was these codes I'm receiving, which are like symbols that we receive in the dream. And I'd write them down, but I never would work with them. It's when I really started working with them that that's when it shifted. And I realized that we're all doing this. Prior to, let's say, the industrial era, we ancestors, tribes, that's how they guided themselves. That's how they moved through. Okay, is it time to move our tribe? Let's talk to the dreamer. She'll tell us which direction to go in. I studied with an African shaman, and in the Kosa tribe, if you are not remembering your dreams, you're sick. And so they take you in, you sit with elders, and they help you bring your dreams back, begin remembering, and then they watch you, because if you're sick, your whole village is sick. So it's very important for our dreams. We have these 2 sleep cycles. We used to. Now
Yeah.
we're just determined to sleep 8 hours straight. But the first one would come in. We'd usually wake up between 1 and 3. And at that time, we would get up and we would pray, or we would stoke the fire, or we would actually go next door and speak about our dreams and share our dreams. And then we would come back and finish our second part 2 sleep.
Yeah.
Sitting around the fire was the first thing people did in the morning. Now, I know that times have changed. We're in modern times. And so there's ways of working with them differently. But this isn't something that is just for some and not for others. We spend about 30 years of our life sleeping. A lot is happening. A lot is happening.
I'm always fascinated by that. And you mentioned that your mother would appear in your dreams. Would she have a message for you? Would she speak to you?
No, it was actually it was kind of, as a child, it was a really kind of sad dream. I'd be running through a field, and I'd come to the sliding glass door, and I couldn't get in. Like, I'd just be looking at her wanting to get in. Interesting enough, as they worked with dreams more, really windows, sliding glass doors, things like that are really realms to the other consciousness. Being able to reframe that would look like just saying hi,
Yeah.
and maybe then the window would just kind of disintegrate, and we'd be right there. My father recently passed.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, a few months ago, and he's come in my dreams a couple times. My dogs, my animals, and
Yeah.
we all have this ability to tap into this. The key is being unattached to what it looks like. So with my mother, there's times when I just see this light in my dream, but I knew it was my mother. I'm like, oh, she came to visit. So I began having that connection that she's always watching over me. It was healing. This sense of safeness I started feeling. My intuition during the daytime really started increasing, and life began to feel more safe.
Do you think
And
that we are connected to our loved ones who have passed on in the dream world more so than in the real world?
I think we're connected the same. But I think when we're sleeping, or I know when we're sleeping, we bypass the rational mind. So
Mhm.
there's this moment when they can come, that we're more open to receive. So we're in a huge receptive mode
Yeah.
when we're sleeping. And if we can begin doing that at night, it automatically shifts our receptive mode during the day without us even knowing. I mean, I was busy. I am busy. We're all busy. So we don't have time to just sit and go, okay, rational mind, settle down while I connect to my mother, or my grandmother, or my child. I've had people before working with their dreams and restoring their sleep, because that's key one to do first. We need the REM sleep, where a child had passed, which I think is such a huge hole and a huge loss, and we really feel that, who has come into the dream and said, I'm good now. I feel really, really good now. I feel amazing. And there was that connection, and it was so soothing and so comforting, because one of the, other than the physical part being done, it's very comforting to know that they're safe, that they're happy, that there's someplace. We know that, but when we experience it, we know it. So every time either my dog, my dad, my mom has come into my dreams, they've been at a very healthy state.
Which
Like my
gives you
mother,
comfort.
yeah. So like my dog, I'm like, oh, you're like super healthy. And I just had one of my dad, and then I was on an airplane and he was there, which is really those flying in those higher realms of consciousness. I'm like, wow, you look super healthy now. So
Wow.
yeah, so there's this comfort that we're not alone. However, our rational mind, our busyness gets in the way. So it's really this beautiful open field when we're sleeping.
That's so beautiful. I love that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Tell us about the symbols that you would see in your dreams. What kind of
Oh,
symbols? What do they mean?
so many. So I like to look at this as symbols are individual and personal. Let's say there's a car, and there's a car in your dream, and my car's blue and your car is red. My car has a flat tire. Your car is driving down a windy road. So, how we would look at that is my car is stalled with a back left tire, we'll say left tire, and it's red. So I like to take the car as our bodies, as our vessel. And that's the code, that's the symbol, and what's going on with it. Well, my car's not going anywhere, and the back left tire is flat. So we look at the left side as being feminine, the right side as being masculine, that yin and yang. So, what in my past needs a little bit of healing and feminine nurturing so that I can get moving again? And it's ground, since it's hitting that red sacral area, grounding, security, feeling safe. So, here you are in your blue car and you're strolling along, but your path is really windy. And so, blue, we're going to look at either like, depending on the blue, maybe it's our throat, our voice, our speech, or maybe it's we're looking more at our third eye. Where is your path kind of going off in windy directions rather than straight? So, where is there some clearing here in the throat chakra and the voice and the speech that needs to be more forward, more clear? Or is there some stagnation that's taking me kind of winding in my third eye? So we would kind of associate it like that. Now, for you, because it's so individual and so personal, because it's our soul speaking, it's our language, we're looking at the feeling. It's really easy to go to a dream dictionary. I'm wanting to teach people to not outsource so much, to go inward. And we're going to get so many more answers. It's going to be our sovereignty, and we're going to really connect and begin trusting ourselves. So we'd run that symbol through our body and we'd come with the feeling through it. I just had a dream the other night, and that feeling's been with me for 2 days. And I keep trying to define the feeling, and I'm getting the message, quit defining the feeling and just let it feel through you. And I followed that, and it came to that, like, there's transformation happening, and I
Mhm.
need to just surrender into it. And there was with the whole dream. So we may not get it right away. We may see the symbol in our waking state and it may make sense, but it's about really beginning to pay attention to ourselves. It's creating a dream practice that's sustainable. A lot of us don't have time to just sit and write paragraphs and paragraphs as dreams, but if we can just dream track, write that symbol down: blue car, red car, left back tire. And then we can kind of see through the waking state where the message is coming through.
That's such a great idea because I have like very, very complex, very vivid dreams. And everyone's always telling me to write it down, but it's like I can't sit there and write for hours every morning. So that's such a great suggestion just to take the key points, like the symbols that I'm really remembering in the morning and to focus on that. So what you're saying is that we actually don't need a dream dictionary to interpret our dreams. We can interpret them ourselves.
I
We
believe
should be.
that is first what we need to do. Go to the dream dictionary though, or AI.
Yeah.
It's always fun to validate and to
Yeah.
see. And right, I do it sometimes. Like I'll do my whole dream, like, oh, well, let's see. I'm like, oh, look how that's so mirrored.
Mhm.
We so want to outsource our power and outsource our intelligence, our inner being intelligence, when it's right there and it's asking us to pay attention. When we do that, that's empowering, that's sovereignty, that's coming back to building our intuition, increasing our cognitive abilities just by blue car. windy path. Pick the symbol that feels so stands out the most and let that just kind of run through you through the day. If you are guided to write, write. If you're guided to draw it, draw it. If you're guided just to move through the day, then possibly that next night, incubate it. It's incubated into the dream. I would love more clarity on the flat tire on my left side, please, and see what comes forward. It's probably going to be
So
something
you
really
just say that
confusing.
before you go to bed at night?
Yeah, just really.
Oh,
Yeah, I think that we need to have a dream journal and a pen right by our bed and an intention. In the old Egyptian era, there was dream incubators. So people would come from all over. They'd have these festivals and they would sleep outside, wait for a dream, and then they go to the priest or the priestess, share the dream, and they decide if it was worthy of going into the incubator. They would take that and go into the dream incubator with the priest and priestess, and they would wait for the answer to come through in the dreams. They
wow.
found over 300 incubators all over Egypt. So
I've never
now,
heard of that before. So how do these
yeah,
incubators work?
well, they're just, it was a temple
Mm-hmm.
with the snake symbol, which is interesting. And there was snakes slithering on the floor,
Oh,
which is our medical symbol, right?
yeah.
So for us, we don't need an incubator. We go to bed at night, and it's just about, I would love more clarity on this. But I think starting with, I'm a master at dream recall, or thank you for the beautiful dreams, and really get into remembering them and writing them first and just tracking. Just do dream without even figuring them out. Just dream track. Right there is going to start amplifying it. In fact, just even listening to this will amplify some people's dreams tonight. The minute the soul's like, oh, they're paying attention, let's jump in. Because dying to connect with us. And we're so disconnected right now with our nervous system, so frenetic.
Which brings
So
me to my question that everybody wants to know. And, I'm 55 and I've never figured this out. Why do we dream?
that's a beautiful question and a big one, right? And
Yeah.
do I have the answer for you? I don't know. I'll share my how I feel
Mhm.
and what I receive. First of all, on a scientific, coming from science, it's constantly our built-in stress reducer in our REM sleep, right? It's cleaning out. We hit these two stages of sleep with NREM on either side. The beta amyloid protein's getting cleared out that's linked to Alzheimer's. So it's a cleaning out process. It's a stress. All of our stresses are getting filtered, integrated, and our emotions are re-regulating themselves. However, we're not sleeping right now. We're not really sleeping. We're not hitting those REMs. We're not hitting those 90-minute sleep cycles. So it's about filtering out the stuff. It's our internal, I guess, machine that we have to move through emotions and things that are just too much during the day. On a spiritual level, it is the connection and pathway to the soul. Carl Jung always said the realms to the soul are imagination and dreams. So we dream at night, imagination during the day, and the two are looping in. So it's our deepest connection to the part of us that is way more than just these vessels. It's a chance to connect with something bigger, something larger that we are all striving for and have forgotten. It's our guidance system, our internal guidance system. So whether it's a why or it's as much as breathing. It's as much as just automatically breathing. But you know how we don't pay attention to how often we breathe? Same with the dreams. It's a natural cycle in our human experience.
And just like breathing is really important, and to breathe with intention, right? It makes a big difference. Maybe dreaming with intention also makes a big difference in our lives.
Most definitely. All the tribes, all our indigenous people, intention is everything. Whatever we are doing, intention. And we can write an intention down for a dream, which I always suggest writing it down because then we have the dream. And sometimes I'm like, oh, what was that intention last night? We can look back at the intention and we can see how it relates. Yeah.
Tell us more about the tribes. You said you were with an African tribe, and They were teaching you about dreams. I'm
Yeah,
like
I studied with
fascinated by
that.
ancient cultures.
Oh, yeah, me too. I've studied indigenous tribes and dream work in that place, and I studied with an African Sangoma
Wow.
for dream tracking and really bringing back into the dream world and working with the ancestral realm
Mhm.
and bringing in that. There are these stages of sleep we go through, or stages of dreams, excuse me, that we go through where most of us are just sitting at stage one dreaming, and that's fine. That's what we're doing most of our life, and that's the dreams we get every night. However, we can move into bigger ones like astral travel
Mhm.
and connecting with these ancestors where our gifts are brought through from ancestors, and that's really what we were working on, and the healing of ancestors. I cannot tell you the dreams I had during that study that I did on that summer. So
So you
uh,
can connect with your ancestors and they can come through your dream and actually heal you,
or we can heal them.
or you can heal them,
Yeah. Do
thus
they
heal
need healing?
yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. As we heal ourselves, we're healing, like they
Previous and
said.
future generations.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if we're looking at it like with the Kosa tribe, where it's like if you're sick, everybody is sick. You just healing yourself is energetically moving outwards. And we're not the first ones here to create our stories. Our stories are coming through time on a cellular level. With dream work, we're literally healing on a cellular level as we're connecting beyond to something bigger than us. It's that work is really deep, and you really need to have done a lot of work yourself in order to navigate a world that feels unworldly, I guess. Yeah, yeah.
I find it, sorry, I find it so amazing that ancient cultures understood the importance of dreams and so many other things that the Western world has forgotten. And there's like no emphasis at all. Nobody even talks about it. Or just maybe something, oh, I had this crazy dream last night, but it's not really looked at as a spiritual healing ritual that our bodies go through every night.
Well, I think that yes, definitely. What a good point, because that's where we're at, and I think we have to look through time how that came forward. There were dream weavers.
Mhm.
Oddly enough, my maiden name is Weaver. Right?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We used to have a boat named Dreamweaver too, as we were
Wow.
growing up. So there were Dreamweavers, and they all went to them. So if someone would come up, no, we need to plant this, or we need to go this way, they go, no, we need to talk to the Dreamweaver. However, through time, religion came in. There was a fear put in that dreams were bad and they were evil and scary things would come to you and they were dangerous. And what that created was somebody to be in charge, to be in power. Because if you knew how to go inward and heal on your own, why would you need somebody to be in charge of you, in a sense, right? They kind of got deemed as bad and evil and scary. And so we were, like the devil would come in or
Mhm.
something like that. So through time, we then came into the light bulb. Our circadian rhythms got put off. We weren't connected to sunrise and sunset. And then, but electricity being one of my favorite inventions, so I'm good with it.
Yeah.
And, and then the industrial era came in where we're working more. We became more busy. Then, through time, it just got put over here
Mhm.
and behind us. But we also became more stressed, more anxious, more depressed, more sick. And we have technology. We're getting way less sleep now. It is not, you are not rewarded for sleeping more. You're rewarded for sleeping less. And so we're not hitting REM. And so we're dreaming less. So that makes them back here. And so through time, we've forgotten. And I think that's with many things where we do need to come back to a few of the simplicities of life, and then modernize it some
Mhm.
to where it fits in to our world. I feel we all should really be paying attention to our dreams. It's like, to me, it's kind of like a no duh. If you want to increase your intuition, you want to increase your cognitive, your health, your life, and just really moving more into trusting in the self and feeling like so many people are like, oh, I just want to be intuitive. I want to connect to my guides. I want to connect spiritually. Like you're doing it every single night. And then let's not forget the creativity that comes through and what we can create. The Beatles, their song Yesterday was
Mhm.
almost called Last Night because they dreamt it.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Uh, Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones, he used to record himself every night sleeping. And he said it normally it's pretty boring. There's a lot of snoring. But one night the first line of satisfaction, he spoke out loud when he was sleeping and then wrote the rest of it.
Wow. Amazing.
Yes.
With the advancements of AI, do you think pretty soon we'll be able to like actually record our dreams
Mm,
and
I
watch
think
them back?
yes,
That would
possibly.
be pretty cool.
Yeah.
We wouldn't need Netflix anymore.
No, we just watch ourselves. Might
Especially
have
my
some
crazy
nightmares.
dreams. I'd have lots of subscribers watching my dreams back.
Well,
Um,
and there's a space we hit through the dream cycle that we all go through, and it's on the front side and the back side, and it's a liminal space. And it's where the light bulb, the theory of relativity, all that came forward. And there are these moments where now we have voice activated recorders on our phone, and we can just put that there. With practice, a lot of it comes through. We're on this edge doorway where you've got the subconscious on one and the conscious on the other, the spirit and the human. And we're right in the middle watching both. And it's so powerful. We begin seeing faces, we might hear voices. We pass through it every night, all of us, and we pass through it when we're coming awake. And there are those two areas that to harness those. So much of our genius is in there for co-creating. I've created a lot of my work in my dream series in those spaces.
it's amazing. Do you
Yeah.
ever think that sometimes I have these thoughts that the dream world is the real world and this is
Yeah.
the dream? Do you have that too?
We talk about that all the time in my dream classes. Is this the dream or is this the dream? What if they both are?
Yeah,
Like
what
what
if
if they're
they
just
both are? Because how can you tell
different
the
timelines?
difference? I always say that, like even about this world, the real world, right? Because I mean, in your dream world, you can have orgasms, you can laugh, you can feel pain, everything the same as in this world. So how do we know that this is not just another dream?
Maybe we don't need to know. Like if you look at maybe it's just a different timeline. Maybe we're on different timelines. Maybe we're tapping into another timeline that we might call a past life
Yeah,
or into something else going on. We don't know. The thing is we're so wanting to figure it out.
yeah,
And when we figure it out, the rational mind's coming in and it's coming from our knowing. So we're never going to figure it out. What if it is? What if we're just taking the information from the waking state to the sleeping state? I have this this crazy experience I had with a nightmare. And it's kind of on the realms where the two worlds kind of mesh together. I Michael Myers from Halloween would show up in my dreams all the time, like over and over. And he's scary. He'd come out of my walls. I'd be driving my car. He'd be chasing me. And I'm like, ah. And when I really went inward, it's actually when I started microdosing, all of a sudden, after years doing some really deep inner work, he was asleep on a bed in a hospital and I was holding his hand, healing him. So I looked at it as my own fear was beginning to heal. Then a couple months later, I'm walking down. I love to walk at night here in the Pacific Northwest, and the leaves were starting to fall, and it was just, kind of a fun, full night. And I had a dream series coming up, and I was thinking that, oh, it's really weird how my dream state is actually starting to show up in my waking state. And it was literally right after that, I looked across the street and there's someone dressed up like Michael Myers walking down the street. And I'm like,
No.
oh my God, like I'm like trying to get a picture and the pictures are not coming out. I turn down a street and he turns and now he's right behind me. I'm like, this is my dream. Michael Myers is right behind me.
No way.
However, I wasn't afraid. I just kind of like, okay, universe, thanks. That's awesome because
Holy
I was
smokes.
just thinking how that shows up. But it did show me that the fears we're internalizing or that the spirit or soul or subconscious, whatever we want to call it, is really trying to move through us is not as scary in this reality than it is in this reality.
I have like so many questions in my head right now. I'm trying to organize them because I got so many things I want to ask you. Okay, we were just talking, you just mentioned nightmares. So let's talk about nightmares because that's a big concern for a lot of people. Why do we have bad dreams? What do they mean?
Um, yeah, I look at them as gifts. Like they
Mhm.
really are gifts. I know they don't feel like gifts, but it is the soul screaming. It is like it's time to work on this. And if they're repetitive, the minute, and I've had this actually happen to a woman in my dream series where she just kept dreaming the same nightmare over and over. And I said, well, tonight when you go to sleep, I hear you. I hear you. Please soften. I can hear you better when it's softer, more gentler, and I can have a little bit more clarity. I'm paying attention now. And they have stopped. I just talked to the other day too, and it's never come back.
Wow.
So our nightmares are really wanting us to pay attention. And there's an imprint in there. There's an experience in there, energetic wise, that is stuck. And if we're in our waking life asking for, I really want this, and I really want this, and I really want to move forward, and I want to create this, or whatever we're at, I want to feel better, then that could be the message coming through, and we need to pay attention. And this is the power of sleep and the dream life. We can do the work when we sleep. So I always tell people, as scary as they are, the nightmares are a very cathartic release and message coming through to pay attention.
Interesting. I will never look at them the same way again. That's
Oh, I
really
just,
cool.
yeah. And they can be like, you feel them. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to, I remember I'm like, I don't want to go to sleep tonight. Michael Myers
Yeah.
is going to come in. But it wasn't
Yeah.
until I started kind of working with my fear, because we go to the, there's not really a Michael Myers or a monster
Mhm.
that's going to come and get me. But I didn't feel that way as a little girl. I guess it wasn't that little, it was a little bit later, but still my teen years and my 20s.
Mhm.
So the minute I could start moving and integrating and moving through the fear or an imprint that had been energetically stuck, then that started healing. The fear, like it really, when he was laying on a hospital bed and I'm sitting there holding his hand, hoping to heal him, I'm healing myself. I'm literally in there healing myself. So it was a healing in my dream.
Wow.
And I can feel that.
And when we have a bad dream, sometimes we are startled awake. What happens then?
Well, a lot of times those we're hitting a sleep cycle. Like we have 90-minute sleep cycles. So we're waking up every 90 minutes, whether we know it or not. And
Yeah.
every time we roll over, we go into another dream. It's also a nervous system response. Like you're in there hitting into something that's ready to pop, and your nervous system might go like this,
Mhm.
and you're rushed awake. The power in that moment is your breath and your pen and your journal.
And to regulate your nervous system so that you can go back to sleep.
Yes. But by writing, acknowledging, and hearing,
Yeah.
and using the breath, and I am safe, I'm loved, and shifting the perspective of the nightmare, like, oh, yay, a nightmare, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that sounds funny, but when we shift the perspective, then we're going back to sleep. And then what if we rescript the dream? What if we go back to sleep rescripting it, where you're defeating the monster or the nightmare and you're becoming in charge,
Mhm.
and you're rescripting the dream. Studies have shown nervous system wise that'll realign, help start restoring the rhythm in the body.
I have definitely done that. And sometimes it's a bad dream and I still want to go back and continue the dream. I don't know why. Like I just have this feeling like I need to go back. But it's also amazing that we have that ability to wake up from a dream, go back and continue the dream. I do that all the time, which is so cool.
And what you're hitting there is the liminal spaces. Like you're going into the liminal space, you're coming out of the liminal space and then going back into it and recreating and incubating and going through. So as you can see, our bodies naturally in the human experience know to incubate and intention and moving in.
Fascinating.
Yeah, like
I
you
read,
automatically knew you could do that.
yeah, yeah. Oh, you did. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. I was reading somewhere that, despite the fact that we're like on our devices, on our phones all the time, that when we dream, we never look at our phones in our dreams. Is that true? Have you ever dreamt and saw your phone or looked at your phone? You have.
all the time.
Oh yeah, I don't.
All the time. Yeah. In
Yeah.
fact, this will sound hilarious, but one time I looked at my phone. So we can look at now as phones have moved into our world as looking at it as a window, as a realm to, as a doorway to another
Black
consciousness.
Mirror.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I just dreamt of an obsidian mirror in my
Oh wow.
dream the other night too. I looked at it one time. This will sound so hilarious. And there's Jesus waving like this, or Jason Momoa. I don't know which one, but either one is good. And the first dream I had of my father after he passed was him sitting over at a table on his phone, and I'm like, oh, there he is. And I, on the dream, I picked up my phone and my screen went completely white, like this white that looked different. I know white seems white, but it was a different white. And slowly the word hi was put on my
No
phone.
way.
Yes.
That is crazy. I got
So,
shivers, like goosebumps all
yeah.
over my body. Wow.
And so I think that whatever we're familiar with at this time, that's
Shows
how
up
our
in the
soul's going to
dreams.
speak to us. Yeah. There's not a right or wrong symbol.
Yeah. Is it true
Yeah.
that you never see yourself in a mirror in a dream?
No, I've seen myself in a mirror before.
Yeah. I think I
Yeah.
have too, but I've heard that too as a myth that you
Well,
don't
and
see
I
yourself.
think too, like we are everything in our dream.
Yeah.
Let's look at that. Let's take that. Like I am the car, I am the rock, I am the bug,
Yeah.
I am the aspect of Jesus, the spiritual side of that. And
Yeah.
so I am the third grade friend that showed up in my dream, right?
Yeah.
There's aspects of ourselves. And that's really how we begin with dream work is like, I'm the water I represent.
Hmm.
I am the car I represent. I am the bug. And that's the aspect of me.
Speaking of water, peeing in your dream. And they say that if you actually release the urine in your dream, you will end up peeing the bed. But this is not true because I have done that many times.
No, yeah. A lot of times you can just be in the bathroom in your
Yeah.
dream.
Or you're searching for the bathroom and you're searching and you're searching and you can't find it. Do you
Many
have
times
I
I'll
get this
wake up
story?
going, oh, I actually have to pee. Like we'll
Mhm.
wake ourselves up. And, this is the powerful part, like astral travel,
Mhm.
leaving out of body experiences when we're sleeping. A lot of people think that's scary. However, eventually you're going to have to pee and you're going to wake up. So you're going to wake up. I think maybe there's most likely times that doesn't happen
Mhm.
when, especially when we're young, we might dream that we're peeing and we do pee the bed.
Mhm.
And I think that's going to be linked to deeper stuff. There's going to be
Mhm.
something deeper there. Or maybe we drank too much the night before.
Yeah, could be
So
too.
I think there's
Yeah.
other things that come in with
Yeah.
that deep, deep traumas, deep imprints, deep experiences. So I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. I've never personally had it happen.
Interesting. Yeah, I
Mhm.
have that all the time. And I release the pee and in my dream and I feel the release like it's a biological thing that's happening and it's actually not so that's why I'm saying it's so confusing with the real world and the dream world.
Well, and
But
then asking your body at that point, like, oh, I just had a healing dream. I just released something. I didn't
mhm.
have to try and do it in the day. I wonder if I knew what I was releasing, it would be and see what comes forward.
And I have like passing stool. I have those dreams all the time. All the
Everybody
time.
does.
Does so
Everybody
does
does.
it have is that a lucky dream or any kind of significance to that? Or
For,
seeing poo everywhere and things like that?
well, if it's not releasing and moving
Hmm.
through like a flushing toilet or whatever it might be, and what you're saying is very common because
Hmm.
that is a form of release, then it means something is stopped up. If it's all around you, it's like it could be the chaos or something's ready to go, but you're hanging on to it. And so it's
Interesting.
about doing integration work during the day to just sit there and go, I don't know what's ready to release, but I'm letting go of it and keep kind of working through that. It doesn't have to be a big thing. We don't have to figure it all out.
Mhm.
If you're in the bathroom and you're going to the bathroom and the toilet flushes and everything's releasing, then you know everything's perfect. If the toilet is backed up, then you know there's something that's ready to release that's backed up and you're kind of stuck. And a lot of times then that can show up within a week, maybe
Mhm.
two, maybe longer in your waking
Interesting.
state. Keep incubating it
Yeah.
if it doesn't come
So I'm gonna
forward.
stop buying the lottery tickets and incubate instead.
Right. I just had the number 1111 in my dream the
Oh,
other
you
night.
did? Wow, that's
Yeah.
very powerful.
I always pay attention to the numbers in your
Yeah.
dream and then either look at them as something you're familiar with, like 1111. I see 11s constantly throughout the day 611, 711, 10, 11, 12, 11, and I
Hmm.
see them in my sleep. So it's very common.
Yeah.
But if it's like a 734,
Hmm.
add it up. What's it equal? Look at
Yeah.
the numerology.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something that's significant to you. We would, if we added up, 7 plus 3 is 10, plus 4 is 14, 1 plus 4 is 5. What does 5 in numerology mean? And to me, and what's it mean to you? To me, it would mean, ooh, some change is coming. 5 is the number of change for me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So astral travel. Tell us more about that.
Oh, we all do it. We all do
So we
it.
all do it. So it's not something you need to practice, but it actually happens that you leave your body during your dream.
I think we leave our body way more than we are aware of.
Really. And
I
where do we
mean,
go and what
the
leaves our
soul's
body?
free.
So
The
it's our
soul's,
souls that are leaving the body.
yeah, we're just like, it's a moment. If you have the out of body experience, which I've had many, and you're in the body, this body is really dense. It's very heavy. It's very dense. The soul becomes free. We can pay attention to re-entries and entries where sometimes we have that jerk.
Mhm. Oh, is that what the jerk is?
I kind of think that it's not, we can't prove it,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's the body leaving or coming back in where we just kind of jerk awake.
yeah,
So, yes, and there has been so many studies and so many incidences reported that people have seen well, you feel like you're flying. When you feel like you're flying, everybody has those dreams,
yeah,
right? Most everybody. And then they see like a village, or maybe they're in Spain and they've never been to Spain, but they can describe it exactly. And it's not that we did this big long flight travel. Everything's really just right here. We
yeah.
don't, yeah. It's just that we're not having the rational mind. We're not in the body, but we're experiencing the universe as a whole.
And
It's not,
when you're flying in your dreams, I don't know if you get those where you're like flapping your arms like crazy and you're trying to stay above the ground and you're like frantically flapping your, have you had that before?
it feels kind of like leaving the body. Like I need to get out of this body. That's kind of what that feels like to me. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, the only time that I had that feeling when I actually left my body and well, I've had it in dreams as well, but like with lucid dreaming and then like swinging out of your body, I was doing these meditations and stuff like that. It was actually quite scary when I felt like my that I was leaving my body behind. But one time I was coming back from general anesthesia in the hospital, and as I was coming to, I felt myself coming back into my body, and I was like pushing it away, and I'm like, no, I did not want to come back.
That's
And I was
powerful.
like just pushing it away. I'm like, no, I don't want to be back here. And I woke up and I was like, just, it was terrible. It was like a really terrible feeling.
That's an out of body experience. And a lot of people with the NDEs, those near death experience, they report that same
Oh,
experience
wow.
where it's like, no, this feels so much better. Do I need to go back into the human body? And because it's very, very dense.
Yeah.
I work with plant medicine, and I've had that same experience where it's like, oh, this body is heavy after we've been out of it.
Yeah.
Um, I've had many experiences in my sleep world where that has come in, and it would make sense during anesthesia. I think most people do that during
Mhm.
anesthesia. They just don't remember like you
They
did.
just leave. They're just out. They just leave
Well,
your
yeah,
body.
and how many reports do we hear of people like hovering over and seeing
Yes.
the doctors and people working on them?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would that's a gift you received. That's a
Yeah.
gift because most people don't with the anesthesia. It's such a unconscious space.
Yeah.
It'd almost be interesting to study what's happening in people who remember that and people who don't. Like,
Yeah.
where's the commonality of moving through that? Because we all do it, but what's the memory part? And the power of you going, oh, I don't want to go back in there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, wow. I love that. That is
yeah.
just unbelievable. Linda, you mentioned a couple of times plant medicine, micro dosing. How do those relate to our dream world?
Well, we really need to first sleep. And we're not sleeping, we're not getting the REM. I think it's 90% of Americans from the National Sleep Association are sleep deprived. So, one of the reasons we're not is our nervous system, our GABA glutamate system is exhausted. And so, think of the glutamate as the on switch to the brain and GABA as the off switch. So, if we're running around constantly with that glutamate pedal down, like the gas pedal in the car, GABA is not coming in to soothe and get our nervous system into parasympathetic. I work with mushrooms. I work with a plant medicine called Amanita muscaria, very different than the other psychedelics. We're working with the GABA system. And what happens is through a very important process of dehydration, we're looking at the muscimol that comes out of the mushroom. The brain then grabs onto it and it soothes the system. So we're seeing people with more sleep, falling asleep quicker, staying asleep longer. If they do wake up, they're coming right back into sleep, getting way more REM. The dreams just wake up, they're vivid. She loves to work in the dream world. For some, they may take it at night and it's a little too kind of over exhausting our like our GABA and glutamate. We're already getting enough GABA and we need to back off during the day. It's a little bit too frenetic, and that happens to me. So if we're taking it during the day, if we're microdosing Amanita during the day, we're getting a very soothing central nervous system that she works directly with. So sympathetic, parasympathetic, vagus nerve comes on, pineal gland starts producing melatonin as it does again. Everything is there's a big ripple effect. So I call her the mushroom ally of restoration. We at this time are so being called to restore our bodies, and there's so much chaos. And she just creates this very soothing ebb and flow, bringing us back to our homeostasis. And then we can go in, our dream world then opens up because we're getting more REM sleep and we can start working with our dreams. We are more rested during the day. And I really believe that if we're in fight or flight, I don't care what we do, healing is not going to happen sustainably. The nervous system is going to keep gripping. So where we might microdose psilocybin for working with our neural pathways of the brain, beginning to shift our behavioral, wake up these emotional patterns, we have to restore first and then move into that. And then we can work with our dream world and our waking world, and we're sleeping more. I've had a lot of people express, oh my gosh, I'm sleeping again. I'm sleeping for the first time in years. I think not as a fixing, but as an ally.
Yeah.
And then over time, you automatically are sleeping without microdosing. Like
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
tell your nervous system has created a restoration and has restored itself. And that's what these medicines do.
So you actually see healing, people healing their nervous system, their bodies from physical ailments, mental ailments with the help of the
Most
plant medicine.
Yeah, most definitely. Because if we look at like, say we're starting with the Amanita and we're microdosing and creating this restoration within the body, then cortisol levels are coming down. The vagus nerve can drive. Vagus nerve can come in and drive and do its job. So the other parts of the organs then can come in and start doing their job. I look at that central nervous system as the powerhouse. When that's out, everything is off.
Yeah.
So it's not that this medicine heals and fixes you, restores a part of the body that all the other parts need to come in.
And can anyone buy this Amanita and use it themselves, or do they need to be under supervision while they're taking it? How does it work?
Yeah, I'm glad you're bringing that up because one of the things that's been discovered with microdosing is containers. Looking at a container as Maybe with Amanita, it's just a small one. It's just let's onboard you. Let's look at if there's any other pharmaceuticals you're on that might contradict with the medicines, where the timing when we need to take it, and then having that space where we can, this is happening, this isn't working here, let's move it to here. Because it's not that these medicines don't work, it's about finding the sweet spot. With psilocybin, it can bring up these emotional heavals that are ready to be looked at. We need a place to integrate that. We're
Yeah.
going to work with the dream world in that, and we're going to work in the wake world. It's not a container about somebody fixing. It's not about the medicines fixing. They're about guides and feeling safe enough to look within. And then we stop outsourcing. The psilocybins with studies have the default mode network, where that's our behavioral,
Yeah.
that we go to quiets. So we don't go to that. All of a sudden, it's like, wow, I feel like I'm responding to life rather than reacting to life.
Yeah.
With Amanita, when the nervous system is down, for me, the creativity just came in. So
Wow. And where would someone be able to purchase Amanita?
from me,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Perfect.
they can reach out to me. I have a microdosing series starting in January, where we start
Okay.
the first couple of weeks with Amanita to restore,
Yeah.
and then we bring in psilocybin, and then the whole time we're working with dreams and bringing in all of that.
So what does this entail? This course that you'll be leading?
So the first 2 weeks, we begin onboarding with Amanita, educational, and just feeling out what people need, where they need to take it, and just getting familiar. These medicines are relational, so developing the relationship with the medicine. They are beings from our earth that have been here forever. As the indigenous used dreams, they also used medicines. And so with Amanita, we're going to begin sleeping. We're going to be dreaming. So we're going to start working with what's coming up. We're going to share in a circle, in a community, and begin connecting to ourselves, restoring the system. Then we're going to move into psilocybin, and we're going to see what comes up.
Mhm.
Many people, more focus. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling sad. Great. Let's
Yeah.
work with those. Let's move those, because that's what's ready. So sometimes kind of knocking on the door saying, do you want to look at this?
Mhm.
We're also working with a very, very small sub-perceptual. We don't want to feel altered. So the correct dose is really important. And if someone's really sensitive, like I am, and it feels like you are too, you'd probably want a little bit less of a dose. If
Mhm.
someone's a little bit more like this, maybe they can handle. We don't know. So
Yeah.
it's really important to get that. And so we work through that, work with our dreams. And we begin a microdosing practice, a dream practice, a imagination practice, adding those to yoga, working out, our work, build our creativity. It's like this new architecture of being, and becoming that forward thinker and creating life that you're living with life, and life's not happening to you. It's like this big ceiling, our intuition, our trust in ourselves. So that's really what the whole program is about, coming back to your wholeness and that space of sovereignty.
So beautiful. I love it. Will it
Yeah.
be online or in person only?
Online, but I
Online.
do
Okay.
hold in-person retreats. And so
Oh,
there's
okay.
an
Tell us
option at
about
the
that as
end.
well.
Yeah, I have one coming up this weekend, actually.
Oh,
And
nice.
yes, yeah, we start with Friday. It's in the Pacific Northwest on these beautiful indigenous land of about 50 acres.
Oh,
And we meet on Friday. We begin with Amanita tea and fire ceremony, start putting our intentions into our dreams and working with our dream world that night. And then on Saturday, we do a larger psilocybin ceremonial journey, and we start working with our intentions. We move in, we have sound bathing. I speak light language, so that comes in, and which is a frequency. We have a chef that prepares. We gather at night, and then we have food as our medicine, and we gather a very nourishing food. And then on our last day, we come in with integration circle, and we have flower essences for grounding and coming back into the body. And we do 2 pre-Zoom and 2 post integrations to come into it. So, yeah.
oh, that sounds amazing. I want to come. Why are you so far from me? You
Where are
need
you
to.
at?
I'm in Europe. I'm in Gibraltar.
Oh, that's yes, yes,
It
yeah.
would be
Oh,
amazing to have this in Europe. That sounds so peaceful and beautiful and just something I would enjoy so much. So we're filming this in September, guys. So with Linda, this is happening actually the end of September, right? But I'm sure you'll
yes.
be doing others. So if they check out
Yep.
your website, your social media. Speaking of which, where can they find you if they want some more information, Linda?
My website is lwsamphire.com and all the information's on there. It'll take you over to our Spirit of Life retreat website, which just in March we're having a men's retreat. So
Oh, how nice is that? Men need more of this. It's
they
always women. Every
do.
time I go to a retreat, it's all women. And maybe
Yeah.
one or two gay guys, but like the guys just never go to these things. So I think that's wonderful that you're doing that for men as well. And are you
Yep.
on
Yep.
social media as well?
I am. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook.
Okay, I'll make sure to
So
link everything below so people can easily find you.
yes.
Linda, this
Yes.
was one of my favorite episodes ever. Like this was just,
Oh,
I could have you here forever. Honestly, it was so beautiful.
it went fast, did it
It went
not?
really fast. I'm like, I said it'll be about 40 minutes. I'm already 1 hour in, so sorry to keep it
Oh,
that long.
well, I'll be
But
excited to hear about your dreams tonight.
yeah, it's going to be interesting for sure. And I'd love to have you back because we discussed in the beginning before we started recording so many different topics that you could talk about that would be of great interest to my audience. So it would be wonderful to have you back down the
I
line as well.
I would be honored. Yeah, you have just such a beautiful spirit and energy
Oh,
that
thank
it's,
you.
yeah,
You
that's probably
too.
why it
I
feels
just
like it's
like
been
I want you as
15.
my friend here. It's like, oh,
Okay.
I need to meet more people like you. You're absolutely
Oh,
amazing. Thank you so much, Linda,
beautiful.
and thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you reach out to Linda below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye bye.